More applause, yes. I created a few questions, some general and some quite specific, but then I thought we'd open it up to you and do it a little Oprah style. In the immortal words of Fiona, I will guide you. I'm your guide. Those of you who don't know who Fiona is, I know you'll find out in the next couple of hours. Let's start with the award festivities themselves. We're going to go back in time instead of saying how you began and your sad, tragic little life before you became Donners. How did you feel? I mean, getting up there, I mean, and the people who've gotten the award previously, doesn't that blow you away?
It was great. It was a great night, and Lisa Kudrow and Christina came to, and they're never together, and they came and gave me this award and talked and had fun. And
I heard they gossiped at your expense and called you Mary Poppins or something.
They
what does that mean?
Well, I do like Mary Poppins, and it's a kind of a guide for raising children, I think, although a little crazy. But she's always like telling kids the things that they didn't happen. She's like crazy making as an actor. It was lovely going into the chalk garden, and she'd say, "What are you talking about? You're crazy. That never happened." So it's a bad guide for parenting. But I loved anything with Julie Andrews in it growing up, and they know that. So they had to rib me about it.
Now, I also read that they said that you know less about filmmaking than any director they've ever worked with, and that's a good thing.
It is true. I don't know any of I didn't, when I was going to college, they didn't have a film school, at least at the school I was at, and I don't know anything about that part of it. To me, directing, I come as a writer, and, you know, I love the characters, and I kind of know where the emotional story is, but I'm not that interested in the other parts of it. And fortunately, there's a lot of people who are interested in that, who you get paid to make you look good. So you don't really need to, I don't think. That's a big secret. Wow. You know a lot.
Well, let's not have everyone believe that.
It's true.
Now, I also went on YouTube and I saw a little bit of your speech that someone had put up on YouTube, and you were talking about, I think, migration patterns of homosexuals to Hollywood. It was very confusing. It was all out of context. It was something about we all come to Hollywood.
We all end up here, yeah. A lot of us end up here. The ones that don't are not that interesting.
Or happy.
Or happy. It's always so disappointing when you meet a dull gay person, but they're there.
What a letdown.
Oh
my God. And they're usually plumbers. I've decided that it would be easier for all of us if I just sort of created the 5 sort of hallmarks of a Don Roos film so we could all go home and create them ourselves, and then we wouldn't need to always depend on him to do them. So here they are. You have to have an unpredictable narrative.
Yeah.
You have to have some sort of cheeky narration or titles. Now, you don't have to have this, but
It's
it helps.
Nice if you have it.
I mean, it makes it feel more Don if you have it. You have to have deeply needy and deeply comic characters.
Yeah.
Someone described them, I was reading, as impulsively compulsive, is the way that someone described his characters. You have to have original choices in editing, and I know your editor is represented here by his wife today. So, in music and in composition. You don't put anything together, and maybe that's because you haven't learned the rules in the same way. You put them together. And then finally, last, but you have to have a healthy amount of sex. Yeah. Conventional or otherwise, and it's usually shot frankly and originally, and not the way you normally see it in the movies where there's like a sheet over somebody.
No. If you don't have sex, you have to have a pregnant teenager.
That's before the movie began.
That's right, as long as you've got that.
And I should add a 6th thing. You have to have some gay people, and the gay people have to be recognizable as people that we've known.
Yeah.
I mean, I see a lot of movies where there are gay people. I don't know where they came from. I think they came from the book of gay people. But in Don's films, they tend to be, I know, they tend to be like people we know. Even the clip they showed there, the 2 gay couples in the birthday, I've actually had that scene. Totally. So, I mean, that's always great. So now, going with that, did I leave anything out?
No, that's it.
That's all I need to do?
That's it.
So I can go home today.
Yeah,
and
you can all make it, since you don't need to know anything about directing. Do it.
You should really just write that book. It'll be a lot easier for all of us.
Put all the actors in a room and put lights on them and just say their lines and
now, if
get out of the way.
This is a good question. If you weren't a writer or a director, what would you be? What would you be doing?
I weren't a writer or a director. I'd probably be doing something on the internet, you know, like desktop publishing or something.
Is that code?
No. I like to sit. I don't like to move a lot, and that's why directing is good. You just sit, and then they move.
And they come at you with
They come at you with questions. It's really like choosing a pair of glasses. It's like, is this better or that better? Is this better or that better? Because everybody comes up to you from every department and says, do you want it to be red or black, or do you want it up or down? And you just make your...
But it has to be some sort of creative field. If you're doing the internet, you'd be doing... You couldn't imagine yourself doing, like, being even a doctor? Or,
No.
A cook or
No.
a hairdresser?
Well, I did want to be a hairdresser when I was young, and my mom was horrified. You know how they don't like that. The straight moms. They don't like that.
And why is it that they don't like that?
Well, when I was growing up, it was so long ago. I was born in 1955, so when you're, in 1964, when you tell your mom that you want to be a hairdresser because you like to comb her hair, she gets upset. She gets upset herself. She gets upset at you.
And so that's
I
past.
realized I shouldn't do that.
Now, Outfest, this Outfest that I've missed, a lot of the films focused on the struggle for gay equality, and that's why I'm wearing my still married shirt.
Oh, that's
Both
good.
Don and I actually were married within a week of each other. You were married on September
7th.
September 7th of this past year. I was married on September 14th, so
We
we are
knew.
still married.
We knew that it.
Well, we felt we should go there and get it just because something bad might happen. But as a filmmaker, and people have asked me this, and I thought I'd throw it at you, do you feel you've done your share to advance the cause of gay rights?
As a filmmaker,
Mhm.
well, I think
I
I've
mean,
done.
Christina Ricci set them back a little.
Yeah.
She's single-handedly at the opposite
She'd be
side.
so mad to see that clip with the wide screen. She would have died in the back row if she'd been here. I think I've done, I don't really think I have much of a political point of view, really. I just want to put my world on screen. So I don't really think the gay community, I'm required to do anything for the gay community. I don't really feel that way. I feel I'm required to be honest about my life, and when I have a gay character, I want them to look, like you said, like somebody we know. But I don't think there's any imperative on a gay artist to be anything but honest and truthful and that kind of thing.
But to be the devil's advocate, then who's going to tell our stories accurately if we don't pursue that?
We have to do it. But I don't have any. My films aren't about gay marriage, or aren't for gay marriage, or for gay parenting. I don't think. I don't know. Maybe they are. But I think the artist's job is really just to represent and kind of out our lives. And that's what I try to do. I mean, I do try to be accurate about what it's like for me to be a gay man and the people I know. But I don't really think I have any obligation to the gay community beyond that, just as I don't have any obligation to the Roman Catholic community, which I used to be a member of, or whatever, I just think we're supposed to do we're supposed to be artistically honest, and then everything else will follow. I hope.
Well, I'm going to argue with you about your own work now for a second.
Okay.
If you take like Happy Endings, for instance, and I mean, not a gazillion people saw it, but if people do see
Not a
it,
gazillion is the actual figures that came back to us. Not a gazillion.
but if a gazillion people had seen
They
it,
would have loved it.
they would have loved it, and you would be much wealthier.
Be much better.
So where I was going with that was, I mean, by actually depicting gay people and various combinations of people questioning their sexuality or something, you have done a certain service because you made them accessible. You made them human, and you made them touch us, and you've given points where those of us who are straight and gay, can identify with them, which I think it's just about all we can ask. And
Right.
it's pretty damn good.
I agree. I just don't. I think as long as it's honest and artistically valid inside the piece, and that's all you're looking for. I'd hate to do a piece that was maybe politically correct or politically advantageous to us, but didn't make any dramatic sense or whatever. I mean, that's the first thing, is that you're not really allowed to bore your audience, number one, and then you depict your true life, and then if the audience feels validated about their own personal lives, that's great. But I don't really set out to do that. I just really kind of set out to tell a story that I would like to see. And it's always about those crazy themes. I don't know why they appeal to me, but they do.